he just had no clue.
Remember Frau Brenner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she ended up in East Germany?
Yeah.
And she got out? Does anyone remember what year she left?
She never left.
Oh yeah, she never left, yeah.
She never left.
She left in 1953. So it took her 8 years to get up the courage, but she left before the wall.
Huh.
And I haven't read her story yet, but I'm guessing the way she got out is she took the train from Dresden to East Berlin, got out in East Berlin, walked across the street to West Berlin, and started a new life. But she was, like Abby was saying, she was one of the smart ones and left early. Eric?
I probably would have tried to escape, like jumping out of the apartment.
Oh, Eric, don't say that.
Just because I don't know, knowing me, I just kind of like that. I guess like Kirsten was saying, how she likes the whole like born thing. You know, I'd be like so, even though like my life is at risk, I'd be all for just like being like ballsy enough to try some kind of crazy escape thing.
Cool.
I definitely would have tried to get out no matter what. No matter what time. Even if they shoot me on the way out, I'd try and get out because I wouldn't want to live in a communist society.
Yeah.
That's not for me.
I just remember I said in Austria, like, I wouldn't have resisted, but I would have had these snarky friends, and we could tell snarky jokes with each other.
And friends,
kind of
stuff.
Yeah, but here's the thing: like the secret police knew people like me were out there, and they were recruiting my friends to tell on me. This would have freaking for people like me, because I would have been more in jeopardy, arguably, of ending up in prison in East Germany than I was possibly up there. That sucks. Kayla?
I would have hoped that I was one of the smart ones and got out early before the wall came up. But if not, I probably would have just stayed there. I think I would have been too scared to even leave, to be honest. I don't think I could have done it.
I think I could see myself as like procrastinating. Like I would have liked to believe that I would have been smart to get out, but I could see like procrastinating. Like, oh yeah, we'll go next month. Oh, the train tickets are really expensive. Maybe we'll, you know, like now, like when you're planning for a trip, like, oh, trains are expensive. Maybe I'll wait until next month, and then bam, it's that Saturday night, and then I could just see my husband Matt and me like, let's go to what's the name of the street? Bernhardstrasse, and like make a ladder down to the like. I could see that happening. Like I can see how you would get sucked into procrastinating, leaving.
Now I can picture you like climbing down a rope tied with shirts, like.
Yeah, right.
But no one knew the East Germans were going to do
Right,
this.
exactly.
It was totally caught everyone by surprise.
So you could be luxurious about like, oh, we'll just, you know, wait till spring, or yeah, like.
When our kid finishes school.
Exactly.
Jasmine? If you're smarter than everyone else, or if you work harder than everyone else, thank you. We'll take your money and give it to someone else. Right?
I'm communist though, a little bit. Like, if you understand this concept, if I was born with the ability to do something, and when I'm back at home and I see a homeless person, there is no homelessness. There is no giving to charities and that kind of thing, because it's all taken care of. I know quite a few Russians who lived in the Soviet Union, and they were happy. You know, they got bread every day. They had food every day. They didn't have to worry about, you know, their kids going to this school or that school. And so I do think that there is an initiative in humans to do the best, and you won't just stay at home. And really, collectively, if we all work hard together, we will all get the best. If we all mine well, we'll all have the best kind of marble and granite.
Yeah.
If we all are great doctors, no one will be sick. Nurse practitioner. So you just have to think, like, on paper, I think it's a very good idea. At home, you guys, I don't have children, but I'm paying taxes for your kids to go to public school. Do you understand? So we do have some you know, abilities to take money from people who don't necessarily reap from the benefits. So just keep this in mind. But on paper, it's great. And then, you know, human nature, there's always going to be people who want to be rich, people who want to have power. And that's why the concept there is a lot.
I think that's a good point too. And when you look at the way, say, Russia was run before the communists, people were starving, people were enslaved, basically as serfs, working the land without much hope for an education or a better life. And about 50 to 60% of the Russian people were illiterate before the Soviet Revolution in 1917. After the Soviet Revolution, every house in the everyone was given housing. Every house had electricity for the first time ever. 99% of Russians learned how to read. And no one was made a slave to other people, other wealthy farmers and so forth. All right? Now, they might have been a slave of the state, or felt like a slave of the state, but for a vast majority of Russians, their quality of life went up because of this ideology. Now, for a vast majority of Germans in East Germany, not so much, right? Because this was, before World War II, comparatively a wealthy country. And the Russians stole a lot of the factories and moved them back to Russia to help the Russians. And the Russians put in power these East German communists who didn't necessarily help the people. And this was already illiterate people. This was already a group of people who almost all had housing, you know? And so, at least before the war destroyed their houses, right? So they could look across to West Berlin and know that West Berliners had better education, better apartments, better job opportunities, and the real ability to make a lot of money, especially if you were a doctor or a lawyer or a businessman or an engineer.
Their ability to, make money depending on what they did. If they were lazy, they made nothing. But whatever they did, wasn't their own doing.
And it's very true that laziness is one of the symptoms that took over in communist society. And we don't, you don't want to say this on the streets of East Berlin, but since 1990, when Germany has been reunified, the East Germans have a reputation of being lazier, less friendly, and not hardworking.
Different culture.
So, what can you do? And customer service in Russia to this day?
This is a good experience.
So, that's kind of where we are in 1961. And what's going on in the Bernauer Strasse is people are literally jumping out of windows to live their lives in the West. When we're done with lunch, we're going to walk